I had a plan that seemed like a pretty good idea to me this last Father's Day. I said, you know what? I'm going to do something that's kind of related to my family, related to my kids. And my wife needed something done. She had a gardening tool. This, I believe, is called a hand weeder because you weed with it and you use your hand. So she had a tool that looked very much like this, and you'll see it up whichever way I decide to go with it in that little video there. It had some issues, mainly that it had broken internally, and so it was no longer really functional. But I thought, you know, I'll kind of incorporate my kids into this, just kind of as a fun way to, you know, kind of show, hey, happy Father's Day, you know, here's my family, here's where my inspiration comes from. But turns out my kids, as awesome as they are, they're really loud. And they kind of compete with each other that way. So as you'll see for the rest of the video, my kids will not be featured prominently. But please enjoy. I think it's going to be a good video. It's kind of a, you know, it's a practical video. It's not really like a fun, hey, let's make a knife or let's forge something for the apocalypse or whatever. But I think you'll find that some of what you'll see in this video is actually applicable to knife making and to all kinds of different projects that involve woodworking, metalworking, and so on. So please enjoy and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If there's anything else you'd like to see, absolutely leave it in the comments below because I have all kinds of different ideas for projects, but I want to know what you think. The first step, of course, is just to remove the shaft of the tool from the handle. It was broken internally, and I just needed to get it out of there so that I could craft a new grip. And to do that, because of the way it's constructed, I really had to cut it open. There was no other way to do that. But that was fine because I wasn't planning to use that particular grip anyway. And then, of course, I wanted to get the paint off of there. I knew I was going to be doing a little bit of forging on this, and I didn't have to worry about paint fumes and stuff. So I did that on the belt sander and kind of finished up with the sandpaper. And then I got a couple of propane torches going. There's one, yeah, there we go. I didn't want to fire up the whole forge just to do this one very small project. And all I really needed was enough heat to be able to work the shaft into a flat profile. So there's the block that I chose. That's, yeah, I think that's oak. I drilled a couple of holes about the right distance apart, and then I just worked the drill bit back and forth between them until I had the space that I needed. I didn't get any footage of this, but I had to clean the whole thing up a lot on the belt sander because, as you probably noticed before, the holes were kind of off center and it was all kind of kittywampus and whatever. So I ran that on the sander for a while and just really smoothed it out and cleaned it up. So the next step was to apply the JB weld, which is the epoxy that was available to me at the store when I ran there. And it was the fast setting stuff. So it kind of, yeah, it's easy for that stuff to get ahead of you. And especially in this heat, it says it sets in 6 minutes. I think I've had it set up as quick as, 4 or 5 minutes. So I knew I had to work fast here. And I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to get enough of the epoxy actually down into the hole where the tool needs to go. But it actually worked out really well. You can see the stuff kind of ooze out. Yeah, there. See that? Cleaned it up a little bit, got it ready to clamp. I had to think for a minute about how I was going to clamp it, and then, yeah, it actually worked pretty well. And then I made sure that the shaft of the tool was straight to the handle and left it sit overnight. So the next day, things looked pretty good. I tested it. It was strong, and decided I would clean it up a little bit. And to do that, I used a little bit on the sanding belt and a little bit by hand. And then to cure the handle, or to preserve the handle, I had a couple of options. I could have used some kind of shellac or something like that, but I kind of like this technique of just charring it and then sanding it down. I really like the look that gives. So I decided I would try that out. And there it is, fully charred. And then I grabbed some sandpaper, a couple different grits. I did have it on the sanding belt itself a little bit. So there it is finished.
It's still really hot from all the work I've been doing on it, so that's why I have gloves on. But I think it turned out rather well. Might do a little more sanding and polishing, but I think that's pretty much going to be that's kind of the final product there. Now we'll see how the wife likes it.